7 books to read if you are currently in a reading slump. I've seen most of these on Book Talk, but let's get into them. First, we're going to start with the #1 book that got me out of my reading slump, and that was They Both Die at the End. And this book was a 5 out of 5 for me, mainly because I just loved it. I read it for about 3 months, and yeah, it's a long time, but I would set it down and forget about it and then pick it back up. And I loved this entire book. I'm going to put a little ranking chart right here. And honestly, I say it's a 5 out of 5, but in honesty, just because it got me out of my reading slump, if I wasn't thinking about that part, it'd probably be a 4. We're going to do Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. This would be a spicy book, in my opinion. No, in everyone's opinion. But this one was a 5 out of 5 for me. I loved the love story in this, and I just loved the connection and how it went from nothing to something. And I don't really know how to explain books without giving them away, but this would have to be the top tier for me. Next would be The Unhoneymooners, and as you can see, this book is very loved. I read it, and then I had my mom read it. I honestly love this book so much. I honestly may go buy a hard copy of this book just to keep on my shelf, because it was such a pretty cover, and now it's just kind of, if you can tell, it's like fading. But oh my god, if there were, you know what, I'll create my own category. This one, 6 out of 5. I love this book so much. Now, American Street by iiiPinkster. I'm sorry, I don't know. I'm bad at pronouncing authors' names, unless it's Colleen Hoover, because Colleen Hoover, chef's kiss. But this book I read, I think, in 8th grade, and I love this book so much. But now, with all the books that I've read since reading this book, I would honestly say this is about 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 5, but I love this book so much. It was a really good story, and honestly, if I could read it over without knowing anything that happened, I totally would. My first ever Colleen Hoover book was It Ends With Us, and it was just such a pretty cover. I saw all over TikTok, or I guess Book Talk, and I love this book. It was very good. I personally love the end. A lot of people said they cried at the end, but for me, I enjoyed it. Then we have Maybe Someday by Colleen Hoover. If you weren't able to tell, I'm a big Colleen Hoover fan, and I can't wait for It Starts With Us, this book right here, to come out. It is the sequel to It Ends With Us, which is really exciting. I think there's another book coming out that's a sequel. Oh, it's this one. Maybe Someday by Colleen Hoover. There is the 3rd book coming out. The 2nd one I have and I read, but I wouldn't put it in this ranking because it's like an off story to this one. So I wouldn't start with that one, but it was good. It was. But there's a 3rd one coming out, and I'm so excited for that one. But Maybe Someday. This is kind of a slow-paced book, and at first I got a little lost in it, but once I got into it, I love this book. I would honestly give this a 3 out of 5 stars, you know. The cover's really cute. I have seen multiple different versions of this cover, but this one I think is really cute. We just got off topic. That's fine. Now, for the younger readers, honestly, Heartbones. I love this book, and I think it's good for any age range, but this one really doesn't have anything bad in it. So Heartbones by Colleen Hoover is a great start. And now I feel bad giving this rating because I did love this book, but I would give it 2 out of 5 stars for this one. I did love it. But I did get lost at times, and honestly, I didn't like how big the text was in it. But yeah, it was a different publisher than what she normally uses, but it was still a really good book. Overall, those are my top 7 books if you're in a reading slump to start with, or, you know, if you just have nothing else to read. Those would definitely be the ones that I would read, because those were what I got out of a reading slump with. And I really hope you guys liked that beginning part of the video. It was like a TikTok-ish like mini vlog. It was just everything I did before I started this video. I did go to Barnes & Noble, and I ended up buying The Spanish Love Deception, which is this book right here. I would go get it, but I believe it's in my car. It has been all over TikTok, and Haley Pham has read it, and just a few other Book Talk people that I follow, and Instagram pages and stuff like that. I've seen them all over, so I'm gonna give it a try, and I'll give you guys my review once I finish it.